Hi, I'm Danielle, and welcome back to my channel where I talk about whatever it is I feel like. And this evening, we're doing another Unwinding Thoughts because I saw another movie. Um, this is for my Mystery Movie Monday on the 27th of July, so this most recent Monday to pass by. And if it looks like I'm squinting, it's because because I can't see you right now. Normally when I do these, I am still wearing my contacts and I just take them out after. But it's late when I'm doing this and I wanted my contacts out now. So now I think I'm squinting because I can't really see. But I just wanted to talk about one of my favorite things that I discovered last year, which is Mystery Movie Monday. And I'm going to talk a little bit about my Mystery Movie Monday this past Monday. So I think pretty much all theaters do this. One Monday a month, there's a mystery movie that plays. It's $5 for admission, so it's pretty inexpensive as far as movie tickets go. And you basically see a movie in theaters a couple weeks before it comes out. It's really nice. You don't know anything about the movie. I think the only thing you might know is like the rating and potentially the genre, because they don't want it to be horror or they don't want to surprise you with horror. You know what I mean? So last year, the first ever Mystery Movie Monday that I saw was 100 Nights of Hero. And that, I think, still remains my favorite mystery movie just because it was something so new to me. It was a movie that I genuinely never heard of in my life. I was very excited to see it and just experience a movie that I otherwise would not have seen. As I said, this happens like once a month where you'll get to see this mystery movie. I got with my best friend a couple times, and the best time we have is when we see a movie that we weren't originally thinking of seeing ever. So that's why 100 Nights of Heroes was so special. We saw Nirvana, the band, the movie, or something like that, which was a film I never heard of. We saw Tuners together, which was a very interesting one. Um, Another one that I saw recently was The Furious. I think about that one a lot just because it was an action thriller film that was, I want to say, a Chinese film. And just seeing the difference in action in that demographic versus how American action films tend to be, it was just such a stark difference and it was so fascinating, especially because the story again was something that I would not have looked at otherwise. Oh, I saw Gail Daughtry in the Celebrity Sex Pass, so that was last month, June's, and this month's was One Night Only. And I have seen the trailer for One Night Only multiple times. I go to the movies quite a bit, but beyond that, I do enjoy just watching movie trailers. Like, it's very easy for me to fall down the rabbit hole of watching a bunch of movie trailers and just doing that for for hours at a time. I do that quite frequently. So, I have seen the trailer for One Night Only, and this is going to be major spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers to this film, you might need to watch this later. But I remember seeing the trailer and I was not thinking I was going to see this movie in theaters. It just seemed like a standard rom-com to me, about a not missed connection, but a kind of like, oh, we should have gotten together at this point, but like zany circumstances made it so we didn't hook up this night or whatever. Um, and the catch was like the only day that single people can have sex. And I was like, what? Every time they said that in the trailer, I was like, what are you talking about? What day is that? Because it should be anytime you want. You know what I mean? Like, there are no rules about when a single person can have sex. You know what I mean? So that I was like, is this just like a Valentine's Day movie? Is this like New Year's Eve or New Year's Day or something like that? I had no clue what it was. As it turns out, the big kind of I don't want to say twist because this is like the first thing that you learn about this world when you see the film. Like it was the first thing, it was like just a text on screen in the beginning. But the first thing you learn about this world is that there was a mandate made by the government where single people cannot have sex outside of marriage except for 12 hours on one day of the year. Kind of like the purge. It's like the purge if it were a horny rom-com. And you're probably wondering, how could the government possibly regulate this? And it comes down to everyone gets like a chip in their wrist that becomes like a sensor, and it just senses your elevated heart rate and like endorphins and all that type of thing, and increase in testosterone, I think is what they said when one random person was explaining it in the film as like a way to say, hey, we should hook up. But basically a lot of science and technology went into everyone getting this like tattoo that is red when you're not allowed to have sex, but becomes green when you're allowed to have sex. So that was kind of crazy. And it's basically the tale of these two people who are trying to have sex on the one night of year that single people can have sex. Their names are Allie and Owen. And basically, they want to have sex with different people for different reasons. So, Owen, his girlfriend, basically says, for this one night a year sex day, I want to have sex with someone else that's not you. Essentially, trying to put their relationship on pause because she thinks they need to like experience other things for some reason. And then Allie, of course, is, you know, your typical rom-com girl who's gorgeous and stunning and, you know, just unlucky in love. You know what I mean? Unlucky in love. And I will say they had some pretty good rom-com jobs. Rom-com jobs are those jobs where somehow they make a living, but it's like so fantastical and so you've never heard of a person with this job. Allie's job is she sings jingles for commercials that are all basically parodies. They're basically music parodies that she sings as her commercials. And then Owen owns a pizza shop. His is a little bit more of a standard rom-com job, but still lovely to see nonetheless. And it's just basically the tale of these two trying to hook up with someone within the 12-hour period and basically, you know, running into each other as they're doing this, where you think it's going to be those two hooking up, but he does something embarrassing in their first meeting. So then she's immediately turned off, like she gets the ick, and then them just kind of like continually running into each other as they have shenanigans of trying to hook up with someone. There's a music moment, of course, because she sings for commercials and she wants to be a singer, but she's shy because, of course, she's shy. And oh, the other thing about this is that in this world, you have to wear a condom when you have sex. So it definitely, that is part of the shenanigans where they're trying to find a condom, you know, so that they can have sex in this crazy world. But don't worry, people are still like protesting this idea that the government is controlling when single people can have sex because honestly, why do you care, government? But yeah, the politics in this movie are very interesting because you do occasionally see like little snippets of a politician talking on TV about this mandate and why they think it's the best thing ever. You see like the posters of everyone being like, resist, like you shouldn't have control. Like, so you get to see a little bit of that in the world as it's built up. Of course, for people who are in same-sex couples, they kind of they don't get a pass, but they kind of are able to skirt around the laws in a different way that straight people are not able to. And the roommate mentions like, "Hey, you guys have never really acknowledged us in this way. Anyway, we're used to kind of like having to skirt around the law to get what we want and to fight for our right to do certain things, you know?" And just of course, supply and demand and the price gouging when it comes to getting condoms and people just being so gung ho about sex on the streets and like everyone basically the whole city's buzzing and everyone just like as soon as the clock hits 7, everyone's just like on each other like animals. So all in all, I thought this was a pretty entertaining movie. It was definitely different than what I was expecting. It is, again, like Mystery Movie Monday. It's not something that I thought I would see, honestly. I don't it's not that I dislike rom-coms. I just very rarely find one that I'm like, "Yeah, I have to see that in theaters." To me, rom-coms are definitely like an at-home thing with a glass of wine, or like I do movie nights with some of my best friends and we like just virtually watch movies together, or like Sunday afternoons, a rom-com, a J-Lo rom-com on a Sunday afternoon. Oh, there's nothing better. So I guess rom-coms are just a thing that I don't typically see in theaters. So this was definitely a little bit out of my comfort zone, and it definitely was so unexpected because I didn't predict that this was the little asterisk at the side of the movie. I didn't predict that this was the kind of like, and this is why this is happening. You know what I mean? Like I never expected this twist. It's not a twist because it's the first thing you learn, but it definitely subverted my expectations of what would happen in this film. So all in all, a great time. But I tend to have a good time at the movies. I do just like going. Even if I have a movie that's a bit more frustrating than normal, I do just kind of like being able to give myself over to a different story and just kind of it's a time when I'm for sure only focused on one thing. A lot of times I'm multitasking, so I'll like be cleaning makeup brushes while watching a show, or I'll be doing my nails while listening to a podcast. Like I'm constantly multitasking. So going to the movies, I really do enjoy it because that is just the only thing I'm doing. I'm never tempted to be on my phone. I'm never tempted to like check anything. I'm just always like, this is the time. This is the movie time. So I always have a good time. Plus popcorn. Plus popcorn. Who could say no to that movie theater butter? Not me. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And I will see you next time I have something else to talk about. Bye. I'm going to go put my glasses back on.